Hi everybody, it's crazy, it's Wednesday, and it's time for the Learning Experience video. We're up to episode number 30. Unfortunately, I did not get to the end of the book before I got to 30. But, new goal, I'm going to try to do either 35 or 40. So, hopefully we can get it in between there or right up to 40 because that would be a kind of a cool start off to the BGE coding I'm going to learn. But I ended off at the end of chapter 12 last week. But before I get in too far into it, got to give a shout out to my trusteds because you guys rock. To my crazy fam, love you guys. And to my Patreons, thank you for your support. Okay, so we're up to episode number 30 and up to chapter 13. So, which book are you talking about? Oh, it's called Automate the Boring Stuff. Up to chapter 13, which is on page 295. 295. And chapter 13, which is working with PDFs and Word documents. Now, this one was fun because I kind of got the concept of it. The PDF parts of it were a little bit struggling because it is an older book. And they have, rewrites for it. Just look on the No Starch Press webpage for this book, and they actually give you all the files for the book, and they give you a web page, the web page you can go to that has all the corrections on Reddit. Okay, so go check them out, nostarch.com. Link is in the description. But I've been working on this book, and like I said, I'm on chapter 13, and let's see here. So far, I got into decrypting them, decrypting PDFs, copying pages from a PDF, rotating the pages, turning them around, which was pretty fun. It was actually interesting. Overlapping pages to where they actually look like a layover or overlay. Let's see. Got into encrypting them, putting a password on them, because you cannot access a PDF that has an encryption on it, which is kind of cool. Okay, and then I got up to page 303, and let's switch back over to here. So 303, which got me here, and then I got into my first project. First project is combining select pages from many PDFs. So you're going to do a whole bunch of them. You're just combining them all together. Now, on the ends of these, you'll see that it actually creates a new PDF, and then it, closes that file. Okay, so the result PDF, okay, where's it at? Gotta find my file name. Okay, this one right here, meeting minutes, it does that, and what it does is it goes through each minute, okay, and then it encrypts it as it goes through. And of course, the password is, if you ever seen the movie called Swordfish, yeah, that's every hacker's favorite word. Okay, which results PDF, which is it's going to create this PDF file because it uses the write binary function. Okay, the write binary parameter. So when it writes it, it also encrypts it and makes sure that it's encrypted, and then of course you close the files. So that file right there is actually on my hard drive. It's actually right here, and it's in encrypted, so I'm going to go a little bit past to the ease, encrypted PDF right there. So it wrote this file, and if I open it and I switch back over to page 1, look, oh my god, it says, hey, you need a password. So let's type in swordfish, hit enter. Guess what? Now I can see my PDF file. Now this is all of them. It just goes through everyone. I'm not going to go through all those. But as you see over here, it actually writes a PDF file, which is kind of nice because if you want to make like a nice little PDF file for your game, or you do a lot of PDF files at work and you want to manage them a little bit better, this is a pretty neat idea of how to do it. And so I thought that was pretty cool. I went to 303, like I said, combining, which is the next one up. It's this one right here. Yep. Okay, so it tells about what the program's going to do. and how it's going to do it. And of course, ran through it. Let's see, where's my PDF output? Yeah. So the all minutes PDF does all the minutes for the combined PDF files on or in my working directory folder. So every PDF file in here will automatically be copied and printed or pasted basically to a new file called all minutes, which is all the way up, no, almost all the way up to the top, not that far. All minutes PDF. And if I open it, put it over here. Oh, there we go. You notice that automate the boring stuff's in there. That's because at the very top of my page, guess what? It's a PDF file. So that's going to be the first one it does. And then as you go through, it won't do that one because that's the one it's just made. But every single PDF file, it's going to print up here. Okay? So all these PDF files in here get put on over here. So either which way, uh, it created all minutes, and it was supposed to be just all the minutes, but of course, if you're working from a learning way of doing it, and you're following along in the book, you're going to have a directory that actually has everything in it. Okay, so I made it all the way through here. Let's see here, when I get down to page 306. So yeah, I was close. 306 was the end of this page. This one, as you see, I got down to the bottom of it. Yep. And it shows ideas for similar programs. Now, after that, you get into Word documents, which are these guys right here. And it was a simple, little work on. I was writing it down because I don't want to lose it. And it's pretty simple. All you're doing is you're importing docx, which is actually Python-docx. If you try to install just docx, it's going to be a completely different program. I didn't bother to install it because I didn't want to have that fight with it. But I'm going to go look at read the docs and check just out docx and see what that's about. Okay, but Py-docx is this program here. So you import it as just docx, which is kind of weird. So basically, you're going to create a docx document, okay? And what you're doing is you're actually opening this one to write to. This is actually already written, okay? And then you're going to see how many paragraphs are in it, which is pretty neat because I never knew that, Word actually used what do they call them, runs. And those runs actually make it to where you can have bold, italic, different font styles, so on and so forth. It's all kinds of cool stuff. And I'm like, well, that's pretty neat, So I got into it, and I was rolling along with it. Got up to page 308. I want to put that over here off to the side. 08. We're going to hit here. If I don't do it right, it'll error. See, there we go. So we got up to 108, and then we got getting the full text from a docx file, which was my next one. That would be this one right here. Okay, getting the full text from the docx file, and I didn't run it because there was a small little piece there, and then it went into styling a paragraph and run objects. And these are some of the stuff that you can do. You can normalize them. You can give them no spaces. You can put them in quotes. You can list by numbers. You can even use bullets. Where is it at? Yeah, list bullet 2, list bullet 3. So on and so forth. There's all kinds of, use different kinds of headings. It's pretty interesting. There really wasn't any a program. It was just all just telling you about it. You create a Word. You can create a Word document with non-default styles. Now they did do some fixes. I think I did put a note in here that some of the things that it says you can't do, you can now do because it's a newer version and they've upgraded it to where you can actually use it. Now, these are some of your run attributes. You can use bold, you can use italic, underline, strike through, double strikes, all caps, small caps, shadow, outline, RTL, imprint, and emboss. Okay, so, and it tells what each one of these does. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory as you go through it, and if you're following it through, like I said, most of the time I put a print statement in because I want it to do the same thing. And so this one I printed them all together, you put them all in one line. Well, with the print statement, you got to do it like that and put the 3 quotes in. So that's why I used the double quotes here. But to me, it was pretty simple to use the Python docx, because it's actually, it's pretty neat, but the computers usually still have a little bit of hard time with these. And that's what, as I got towards the end of this chapter, I was like, yeah, it could be a little hard to try to parse through these with, just using code, because computer language is completely different compared to, human readable language. And so, when put in add paragraphs to a new Word document, adding headings to a Word document, adding line and page breaks, adding pictures, which I thought that was pretty cool, because way back in the day, when they first actually had it to where you can put a picture in in a Word document, it was like completely the difference between night and day. So I ended on 319. Let me go over here and put in 319, and then, as you see, ta-da! We're up to chapter 14. That is the end of chapter 13. And now look what I get to working with CSV files, excuse me, and JSON data files. So JSON data is used a lot. I've seen a lot of coders put in JSON files in order to store a lot of information. A lot of people use them for maps in games. I've seen them use them for different type of functions in Python that it writes to it. Save files in a game, there you go, use JSON, right? But CSV files are about the same, and I'm going to learn a little bit more about that. So with that being said, I actually made it up to chapter 14. And, this is where I stopped. I stopped on 319. I just started. And I figured, okay, that's all I'm going to do. And, yep, that was it. So, that's the end of this video. Sorry it's a little short and sweet this week. Had some life events happen, and it's kind of hard to try to get stuff done when you're, taking care of life events. So, until next week.